Hey, hi. In this video, we will see how to manage Oracle Cloud infrastructure as a code using GitHub Actions and Terraform. As you see in this PPT depicts my design of this particular lab session. So here, I will show you like how we can use GitHub and GitHub Actions to manage our infrastructure as a code on Oracle Cloud. So here the flow of this lab session is something like this. So we will have a GitHub repository where we're gonna create the files and the folder structure, where we're gonna keep the Terraform file, which actually has the infrastructure definition in a declarative language, which is basically HashiCorp language, and that defines how your infrastructure on Oracle Cloud has to be provisioned, right? And that's where the those infrastructure developer would be working on those Terraform code actually, and then that code is maintained on the GitHub repository as a version controlled repository or version control tool actually. Within the GitHub we have a GitHub Actions which actually helps you to compile these the code and try to provision the infrastructure on the Oracle Cloud, right? So that's where we're going to see like how we need to write the the workflow files, which is actually enables you to compile those Terraform code and try to spin up the infrastructure in the Oracle Cloud, right? And finally, we will see that the user, or basically we will also experience that infrastructure is being spinned up in the Oracle Cloud, and henceforth your complete infrastructure is now managed as code with using Terraform. All right, so this is basically from scratch to end. We're going to show you like how you need to set up everything that you need on the GitHub repository, how you need to declare the Terraform code, how you need to set up the workflow file, and finally when you release the workflows, which will spin up the Oracle Cloud, Oracle Cloud infrastructure on the Oracle Cloud. All right, so at a high level, if I can walk you through the another diagram. So this is how basically it looks like. Consider the first part of the, or basically the the first space here, the first tab here, what you see here, which is actually annotated as local environment. That's where you're going to write the Terraform code. So here we are going one step above this one. That is basically you are actually writing the Terraform code in the GitHub repository, and you are compiling that Terraform code from the GitHub Actions, which is basically enterprise standard, right? And then that's where the developer is coming in picture, right? So when you release that, or basically you do a Terraform init, Terraform plan, and Terraform apply, instead of running from locally, you're going to do it on the GitHub Actions, right? And how to do that, that is a basically a specialization of this particular video. So here we're going to spin up the Oracle infrastructure something like this, which will create a virtual network, which will create a compute instance, creates the internet gateway, basically the virtual network resources, subnet, internet gateway, and configuring the the security rules and all, right? And finally we will see that our resource, that is virtual machine or compute instance, is being created in the Oracle Cloud. All right, so basically this is the at a high level we're going to show you this from scratch to end. Okay, so first, in the first step, we're going to walk you through the complete setup on the code side, on the repository side, and then on the Oracle Cloud side. And finally, at the last step, we're going to see that how this pipeline, when it runs, it actually provisions the resources in the Oracle Cloud. Let's go and check right now. Okay, so for this demo, I have created a dedicated repository called Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. Right, in this repository, I have created the workflow files, I have created the Terraform files, I have the readme.md file and the helpscript.psn file. So I'm going to walk you through these code from my VS Code, and then we're going to come here and try to run the workflow file, right? And also beside this, I have opened my Oracle Cloud access from the internet, or basically this is my Oracle Cloud subscription, which I have opted for learning purpose. That's what I'm doing in this video, right? So here also I will walk you through like what are the configurations that you need to manage on the Oracle Cloud so that you do this particular lab. First one, let's quickly go through the code, right? So what I did is I have created a repository. The repository is cloned in this VS Code, and then that's where I have set up this Terraform code and the GitHub Action workflow files. First, let me quickly walk you through the Terraform folders, which contains a Terraform set or Terraform set of files. As you might be knowing that to create any kind of infrastructure with using Terraform, you would be creating a certain file names, which includes main.terraform file, output.terraform file, variables, then you have a terraform.tf, terraform.tf vars, and the provider file. Okay, so let's quickly see from the first file, which you always need to aware of. First one is provider. So here we are using Oracle Cloud Provider, right? So that's the reason the provider ID is OCI. And then, so here I'm using default profile. Remember that, so Oracle Cloud provides you a way of authentication to the Oracle Cloud subscription with using a very secure method. I see that this is very secure method by creating a authentication profile. So that is basically you create a config file, and in that config file you're going to keep the credentials that is needed for a machine to authenticate with the Oracle Cloud, right? So that is where this file is talks about, in the sense it will use a config file with a default profile configurations are being provided. Yeah. And then you have another file called terraform.tf file. So as the name says, terraform.tf file, it declares the terraform related informations. So here we are using the HashiCorp providers for OCI, that is Oracle Cloud. So we are using the Oracle Cloud provider version which is greater than 5.0. Yeah, so that is these are the configuration that is we are maintaining here. Likewise, we here, so one thing is unique is, since this is a enterprise grade infrastructure as a code, right? So here I'm going to keep my Terraform state file or TF state file in the Oracle Cloud itself. What does that mean is, I'm going to create a bucket there. We're going to create a Terraform state file, which is basically, you will generate this particular terraform.tf state file when you compile that Terraform file locally, right? And then you're going to upload that file into the bucket, and then from there you need to create this particular authentication URL. Let me take you to this particular configuration from the Oracle Cloud. So this is my Oracle Cloud. If you go to the search button and try to see like bucket, so here there is a something called buckets. Click on that. So when you click on this bucket, what it does is basically it will take you to a bucket resource base. Okay, so here you need to make sure that you actually switch the compartments. So my compartment is basically, I'm keeping that bucket in a root compartment itself. So my bucket name is something like this. So on this bucket, what I did is I have uploaded my terraform.tf state file, or basically, so this is the file. If you see here, this is what I have taken from my local and uploaded here. And then once I uploaded, what I did is, I have created a pre-authenticated request. So here to create a pre-authenticated request, so just click on this particular button, go to the objects, give your object name, that is nothing but TF state file, and give it a object read write file, right? And then just click on a create authentication, right? So once you click on authentication, it will give you a very long URL, and that URL you need to copy and try to put it here. So basically, this is the very unique way of managing the backend for Oracle Cloud, because while other clouds like AWS and Azure, it was very completely different. So you need to create that authentication URL for that particular a pre-authenticated URL for that particular object, or basically Terraform TF state file, terraform.tf state file, and then that HTTPS URL. Please keep it here like this. So this is mine one. So you need to change this when you do it from your side. All right, and then update method equal to put. That's also basically this is not the backend configuration, right? Remember that I'm running this Terraform init plan and apply from the GitHub Actions. Okay, so that's the reason I need to manage my state file somewhere else in the remotely, not in the locally, right? So locally means it's good in your laptop, but when you go for GitHub Actions, you need to do this method. Alright, then let's go for another file, that is a TF-var file. So this is a TF-var file where I have kept my a root compartment ID that you can always find it from here. Go to the Oracle Cloud and search for compartment and click on this one. So once you click on this one, so you're gonna get a list of compartments. So in that one, the first one is basically the root one. So this is my root compartment, and here is my OC ID. So I copied this and then basically kept my hard-coded variable value. And then we go for the variable. So here is a set of variables. I'm not going to go from each by each. I'll just quickly walk you through. That is a compartment ID. Then you have a compartment name. So you can always go through this particular file and try to identify what are all the configuration that I have kept it. But for now, this is the place where we have kept the variable files. Or basically, this is the variable file which will has the variables that is used in this Terraform code are being declared here. Right. So then we go for the output. So basically, output is here I'm just the outputting the compartment ID. Remember that. So why I'm outputting? Because I'm going to create a new fresh compartment ID here, basically compartment, and in that compartment we're going to create a Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. So Oracle Cloud Infrastructure belongs to this particular file. So this is mean.tf file is a file where we actually create a certain resources on the Oracle Cloud. So it includes locals, variable declaration. It has a compartment. As I said, we are creating a Oracle identity compartment. So this is Oracle Cloud resource like this, right? And it has these many variables that we are passing. So one, we are creating the compartment, then we are creating the virtual network. Basically, that is virtual cloud network. Generally, there are different names according to the cloud. In context of Oracle Cloud, so you have a VCN name, right? So that is basically virtual cloud network. And then you have a Oracle core VCN. This is the resource type to create a virtual network, basically, or virtual cloud network. So this is where we are creating a network here. Then we are creating a subnet of that particular network. We are creating a internet gateway, which is needed because you want to connect to your machines or resources from the internet. Yeah. And then you have a route table. Obviously, route table is needed for the subnets. And then this is the way, so in this demo, we are creating a compute instance as our infrastructure. And these are all its definitions. Okay. So one more thing is, you need to, so you can go through the, the documents present in the Oracle Cloud documents, which can guide you like how you need to declare these variables and all, how to get the shape, the shape of the Oracle Cloud instant, and then the availability domains, display name, all those informations can be retrieved from the Oracle Cloud documents. And one more thing is I have created a file called help script file. So this is the file which can help you to get the instance shape details. And then the other one is, basically it will get you the image ID as well, because compatible image ID and compatible image, basically compute instance a shape is very, very, very important concept here. If I can open this one, and if I go to the variables, so those are all configurations are kept in the variables. We go for the variables for the for now. Let's just quickly walk you through the variables used for compute instances. So it has the display name. So this is the display name of the compute instance. So it will be assigned with the public IP address. This is the availability zone ID, basically availability domain ID. And then this is the image ID. So this is this is to get this particular image ID. Try to explore this particular script. So this is the script which actually uses the OCI CLI, which is basically Oracle Cloud Infrastructure CLI. And then with using the CLI, we are getting the we are getting the shape list. From the shape list, we are choosing the shape of the compute instance which we want, and then the relevant image ID. So you need an image and you need a the compute instance shape information, right? And in the compute instance shape information, if I go to this one, so that contains name of the shape. So this is my name of the shape, and then the Oracle Cloud CPU, right? And then you have a memory in GB. So these are all nothing but, so this is basically you get this information once you run that particular OCI CLI command. And then this is the image ID, which will get it from the script. So this is PowerShell script. You can use it. So before you use it, make sure that you change your compartment ID. That is basically you need to use the default compartment ID. So that's all about the Terraform code. Let's go back to the the GitHub Actions. So this is the GitHub Actions where I created a file called OCI.yaml file. So in the OCI.yaml file, so basically this is a workflow file definition, as you see here. So it contains the names. It has the workflow dispatch, as you said. So this workflow we have made it to be triggered by manually. So that's the reason it's a workflow dispatch. And then it has only one job, and the job name is OCI deployment. Yeah. Or basically you can call it as OCI infrastructure as a code deployment. So let's try to rename it as something like this. Yeah. And then you have the run on Ubuntu latest, which is basically a free GitHub Action run machine. And then you have a default configuration, that is we are using the bash context of the GitHub Actions. And then you are using the Terraform as a folder where I need to run down the commands, because as soon as it clones the repository in the GitHub Actions with this particular task, it has to do a CD to this particular path. That's the reason working directory has been set here. And then as I said, so we are actually cloning the repository with this action. And then this is the file called write config and key file. So as I said, we are using to authenticate to my OCI subscription or OCI account. I need to provide my my authentication information, right? That includes, like, in a very layman term, you need to provide your user ID and password, right? So likewise, to access your Oracle Cloud Infrastructure Cloud. So basically you need to provide the OCI config file. So OCI config file contains a certain elements which is needed. In the sense, you need to provide the values of those elements, then only you will be authorized to access your Oracle Cloud account, right? So it contains, basically it creates a config file, as you see here. So here we are using the bash command and trying to build that actually. So as you see here, we are making a directory called .oci. Remember that these are all the nothing but the kind of steps that you need to carry out, and then only the Oracle Cloud will allow you to authenticate to the Oracle Cloud subscription that you have here. So first we are creating a directory, and then in that directory basically you are adding a statement called default, and then you are creating the value called key called user. So key user is nothing but it's an information that is needed in the config file. So use will have a user ID. So this data you can find it from your, you need to create two PEM files. One is basically is a public one, the other one is your private one. So here the public one you need to be uploading here in the Oracle Cloud profile. So if you go to your profile here like this, go to the my profile like this, and then it will take you to this particular page as you see here. So in this page you're going to create your fingerprint with for your particular user ID. To generate the fingerprint, what you have to do is go to the my profile, which will look something like this. It has your Oracle Cloud ID, right? And the rest also one data you got it, that is Oracle Cloud ID. And then you go to the API keys. So API keys, why we need API keys? Basically, this is needed to authenticate. So this is needed to authenticate with using programmatically, right? So that's the reason. So once you have a public PEM file, you need to upload here somewhere here like this, or you can do paste your public keys here and click on add. So once you add the public key or your public the public OCL file, you're going to get the fingerprint, and then you have the your user ID, something like that. Okay, so now with this you got to know your user ID, fingerprint, then the region, tenant IDs. You can get it from the compartment itself, right? And then right, and then you have the last one is this, basically your dot key dot pm file, which is basically your private file. Okay, so that is nothing but private certificate. So so you need these many information to actually authenticate with the Oracle Cloud. So I have made these information as a secret in my GitHub repository. If I take you to the GitHub repository here, so if I go to the GitHub repository in the settings, and then you go to the secrets here in the actions. So here you go, right? So I have created the fingerprint, key file, region, tenant ID, user ID, right? So all those data are now being uploaded as a config file, and which is actually acting as a default user profile actually. Yeah. Also, that is how we are doing it in this file. So I'm not going to show you how to do this in a bit deeper, but I would recommend you to go through a file that is basically Oracle Cloud Infrastructure document, like required key and OCID generation. So this is very detailed explaining. You can go through this one. So now we got our config file, which is actually helps us to provide the default profile information, and with that, using that, so GitHub Action gets authenticated with the Oracle Cloud, right? And then that is not enough. Basically, it will also do a OCI CLI. So this is the one more task which actually installs the OCI CLI in this Ubuntu context, that is GitHub runner context. And then this is something like you're gonna do it to fix the OCI config file permissions, right? And then finally we're gonna run the Terraform init, Terraform plan, and Terraform apply like that, right? So for now I'm just running the a Terraform plan, and then we're gonna do one more round of changes actually, right? So for now, let me, so with this, I have quickly walked you through the code as well. Now let's try to make some dummy comments here. So if I show you the changes, so here there are nothing changes, I just changed the name. But just to make sure that you are aligned with the configuration that you need to maintain on the GitHub repository to make the, to call the Terraform file, right? So this is just now we have committed and up synchronized. Now, if I go back to my repository, so if I go to this particular repository, you see that something is committed here, right? So now what we do is now the time has come that we can go ahead and try to invoke the GitHub Actions, so that we see that the pipeline is actually doing certain things on the Oracle Cloud. right? So let me go to the GitHub Actions. So here I have already initiated one workflow. Now let's try to invoke this one more time here from here. So I'm going to use the branch main and try to run this particular file, and it actually creates the a run, a workflow run. So if I open this one, that is Oracle Cloud Infrastructure as a Code deployment. So this is very quick, actually, very quick. The deployment, as I say, because we are just doing a plan here. So it has created the config file. It is now installing the OCI CLI, and then it actually changes the permissions on the config file. So this is basically a kind of a architecture, or basically it's kind of a standard step that you can construct to construct a GitHub action file, which can actually securely authenticate your Oracle Cloud and then run your Terraform file, so that it will spin up the infrastructure as a code on your OCI. Right. So if you see here, it has authenticated, it has did the init, and it has done the Terraform validate as well. And our plan, it has also executed a plan as well. So if you see here, it's saying that there are 6 resources it's going to create on our Oracle Cloud. Right now I had just run the Terraform plan. I'm not so in front of that, I'm going to also run a Terraform apply as well as part of this particular demo. Now, but this will give you a guarantee that, so here we have authenticated the Oracle Cloud. We have pointed our Terraform state file as a remote file, which is stored in the bucket of Oracle Cloud, like that. Yeah. Now I will going to add one more task in the OCI workflow file, that is actually which actually creates a it actually creates the does the Terraform apply. So now I'm gonna commit this particular change, and I'll also quickly do upstream sync. Let me call it as a Terraform apply. All right, so I'm gonna do a Terraform apply. So basically here my aim is to show you that how you can do that infrastructure as a code with using GitHub Actions and Terraform for the Oracle Cloud. Okay, so I just synced the file. Now let's do a one more time run. Remember that this is a very quick run. It is getting executed in 43 seconds, which is very quick. And let's run a one more time. This time the workflow file has a Terraform apply. So I'm going to run it basically in front of you here. So this is a second iteration that we are running. And if I open this one, so you're going to see that it will do the same thing here, right? So it is creating a config file very quickly. It is installing the OCI CLI, which is needed because we are using the CLI based authentication by constructing a config file with those the key value pairs. All right. And then then Terraform will use that default profile provider access. So if I go back to the Terraform code in the provider, if you see here, config file profile, right? So and it is taking use the profile with the name like default for Terraform authentication to spin up the infrastructure. So our infrastructure that we have written here is to create a compute instance, right? And we will see that compute instance will be getting created as soon as possible. Now here you go, right? So now it has trying to create the Terraform apply, in the sense it is now running the Terraform apply. As you see, this is purely live, by the way, and it is creating a new compartment, as you see here, and then it gonna create the other resources. So we have declared the VCN, that is virtual cloud network. It is creating a virtual gateway as well, that is internet gateway. It's creating a route table. Now it is creating a then it is creating a virtual machine with a name like IC pub VMA. So I got this code from the internet. By the way, I'm going to give a credit to that particular resource who has created this. Now as you see here, creation of Oracle Cloud is bit tricky, right? So now it's gonna take some time. What I do is, I'm gonna go on a pause until that and come back. All right, so it has not taken much time. If you see here, that's very quick way of creating the the compute instance in Oracle Cloud. It has created within 36 seconds. Now let's go and check. Okay, so our compartment ID, this is the newly created compartment, by the way. We can go to the instances here. Let's go to the instances here and check if our resources is been created or not. So if I go here, so then and then you need to remember that you need to change the compartment here. So the compartment would be the latest compartment that is getting created. So I'm going to go here and try to spin up. This is not the compartment. Maybe it might have created the new one. So let's go and refresh it a bit. You need to refresh your console one time, or basically Oracle Cloud web page here, and then so then you can try to find out. So let me take the latest one and see that if it has the running instance. So here you go. So this is our running instance, right? So this is the now you see that there is an instance which is running, and there are the VCN are being created. If you go here, so you can also go from here. That is You can always check back to the VCN configuration, which is available. It has the subnet like this. It has a route table. It has an internet gateway being created. It has a security list being created, which is basically security group in terms of AWS terminology. All right. So with that note, I have shown you the things need to be shown in this video from scratch to end. No worries. I'm going to share this, the GitHub repository link from in my video's description. You can find it from there and try to do a lab session from your side. Finally, a kind request, please do subscribe my channel. That would really encourage me a lot. With that note, thank you. Thanks a lot and see you in the next video.